Hello. Today I wanna do a reaction video to Adam Ragusea's opinion on deep frying at home. I've been wanting to do a reaction to Adam Ragusea's videos for a while, but here is one. Let's get onto the video. 3, 2, 1, and 0.
In general, I think that deep frying food at home is a really bad idea.
Yeah, it could be a bad idea at times. For example, the oil could spill out everywhere. My mom would always complain about the mess I made in the kitchen.
For me, your situation may indeed be different, but I reckon that my situation is pretty darn common.
There are many common faults with deep frying at home. It's not such a pain when you're doing it in a restaurant, as you'll see later.
To explain why I think deep frying should be left to the pros, I'm actually going to give you a French fry recipe, the one time of year when I do deep fry here in my own kitchen.
This recipe should be delicious. And before we continue, I'm gonna skip the next 20 seconds of the video, since it's a sponsor that is not relevant to the actual video.
Alright, here's the one time of year when I do deep fry here in my kitchen at home. For the last 3 years, I've planted potatoes in the backyard. My older son's favorite food is French fries, and I just wanted to show him where they come from.
I love French fries as well. Homemade French fries are always better than frozen, as long as they are crispy and rigid.
So every summer, we all go out back with the pitchfork. Digging up potatoes is like a treasure hunt. It's great to do with kids.
I can see where you're coming from. I once dug out potatoes in the cottage garden in Slovakia.
Okay, now let's turn these into fries. First dilemma, what do you fry in?
I deep fry in a heavy bottom pan, either a Dutch oven or a normal pan with a heavy bottom. That was prior to moving to my new kitchen.
Biggest pot is my 7.5 quart Dutch oven. Unless you really want to buy a tabletop deep fryer, I figure something like this is probably going to be your best option.
I used to own a deep fryer at home. Well, my mom used to use it years ago, but I don't know where it is. Never mind.
It's really heavy, which helps to maintain a consistent temperature of the oil. But even in this huge pot, the most oil I can safely fry in is 2 or 3 quarts. You have to leave space for the displacement of the food and enough headroom at the top for things to be able to slosh around without spilling over the sides.
That's why some people like Gordon Ramsay and myself say, never fill the oil above halfway, because it would be a pain in the ass to clean up the oil spills and whatnot.
Compare that to the deep fryer at my friend Sarah Lynn's restaurant here in Macon, Grow. She mostly serves healthy stuff here, so as commercial deep fryers go, hers is really small, and yet it still holds 20 gallons. That's 53 of these.
That is a shit ton of oil. But then again, it's a restaurant, not at home.
One reason you want to fry in a lot of oil is that it allows delicate ingredients to float around in their own personal space without getting bumped into other objects before they are strong enough to take it, i.e. when they are crispy and rigid.
I can see where you're coming from. Another reason why you want to use a lot of oil is so it can cook evenly.
You want to fry dainty, long, thin fries, you gotta fry them in tiny little batches. Otherwise you'd bash them apart while you stirred them around, or they'd stick to the bottom of the pan, or they'd stick to each other.
Correct. It would actually be a big pain to fry long thin fries. It's best to fry fries that are shorter and when they're about a centimeter thick.
So when I fry fries at home, I use relatively small potatoes like these ones from the garden, and I cut them up into wedges. The wedge is a very structurally sound shape. Look at that beautiful purple breed, I love those.
Wedges are fine as well. Fried wedges are delicious also. I just do normal French fries because they are the most simple. And you didn't peel these potatoes. That is acceptable, but I peel them, because why not?
You always want to cut fries way bigger than you want them because they do shrink a lot when cooked.
I wouldn't give a fuck if they shrank down when cooked. I wouldn't cut them too thick. Here is Heston Blumenthal's reason why you shouldn't cut fries too thick.
The only important thing here is don't cut them too thick. If you do, there'll be too much moisture in the inside of the potato, inside of the chip, and what that'll do is it'll render the chip soggy.
Or is that a myth? Adam, if you're watching this, please tell me if what Heston said is true or not.
You gotta get your oil up to temperature. There's lots of ways of making fries, but the basic, time-tested method is to fry them twice.
I fry them twice as well, but I parboil my fries prior to frying them like what Heston did. My dad fries them once, not sufficient. You should deep fry the potatoes twice. The first stage is blanching the potatoes in oil at a lower temperature, and frying the potatoes at a higher temperature, which you'll see later.
First at a low temperature, like 275 Fahrenheit. But you gotta overshoot the mark when you're heating it up, because look what happens when you put this much cold mass into such a small volume of hot oil. The temperature plummets. When you fry in a ton of oil, like you can in a restaurant, the oil temperature is gonna be way more stable. At home, you gotta mother the temperature like crazy, and that's especially tough on an electric range, which takes a long time to heat up and cool down.
When I deep fry, I don't control the temperature, 'cause that's a pain in the ass to do. I would just leave it on high heat, and add what I'm frying when it reaches the desired temperature.
I gotta move those to keep them from sticking, and if they were dainty little fries, they'd be breaking apart right now.
That is what I always do when deep frying, move them every so often to cook them evenly. When you're deep frying, you must mother the pot or the fryer.
Hey, let's think for a second about how insanely dangerous this bubbling cauldron of death is. I only let Freddy look at it for a minute, with me hovering right over him. Not only does oil get far hotter than water can, it is sticky, so if it splashes or spills on you, it's gonna do incredible damage.
That's why when deep frying, you've got to be careful. Don't use your finger to show the oil is hot. Use a thermometer. It's imperative that every household has one of these. They're inexpensive, and they'll make your life far easier.
This stage, called blanching, I did for about 10 minutes. Fries take a long time.
When I do fries, it takes me 35 to 45 minutes, including cooling time between each stage and preparation.
You might be thinking, man, couldn't you have solved all of your problems here by just frying in way smaller batches? Well, yeah, but fries are only good if you eat them right away. What's the point of perfectly frying a tiny batch of fries if they're just gonna get soggy while they sit there and you fry the rest?
I understand your point. Deep fried food always tastes better when fresh. When you leave out deep fried food for a while, it affects the texture, and may get soggy.
What the cookbooks generally tell you to do now is take all the fries out and drain them on a rack, which is a really messy and time-consuming proposition. Then
I would drain my potatoes in a colander. It's the colander I use to parboil my potatoes.
you crank the oil temperature up about 100 degrees hotter and then put the fries back in batches to crisp them up.
I do the same thing. Fry at 130 Celsius or 265 Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. Drain, let them cool, and fry at 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit for 5 to 7 minutes or until crispy. However, Marco Pia White uses different temperatures, as you'll see now.
Blanch at 110 degrees Celsius. Drain, let them cool, but then fry them again at 130 degrees Celsius.
You see, he's using lower temperatures, which doesn't sound right. Anyways, on to Adam's video.
I think that makes a lot of sense if you're blanching several batches and then frying several batches, but again, that's a messy, time-consuming pain, and it results in a whole bunch of tiny batches of fries that are not all done at the same time when you want to eat them. So I just do one big batch, and then when you do that, you really can just leave them in there while you crank up the heat around them.
This is what I do. Don't fry the potatoes in batches, but once they look blanched, I take them out and let them cool down, and then fry all the cooled potatoes until crispy.
Looking for 375 Fahrenheit. Again, it's really hard to hold any temperature in there consistently. This here is a good draining method. Towel goes in a big bowl. Lift the fries out with the spider and the towel will absorb the excess oil. Whip the towel out, put in a bunch of salt, and then toss everything in the bowl. And you know, those are pretty good.
Those French fries look very good. But the other problem comes now.
But now, what do we have? We have a big plate of fries. We have nothing to eat them with.
I could see the problem. You would have to serve them with something else, chicken nuggets, fish, or whatever, or just get used to having just fries and nothing else.
Because imagine trying to grill some burgers while you're cooking those fries. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard. I don't want to do it.
I wouldn't want to grill something while something is frying. It's once again a pain in the assholes. What I would do is, have all your preparation out. Once you've done frying your fries, add your fish to the batter and then add to the oil straight away.
Imagine trying to make fish and chips at home. You've fried the fries, now you gotta fry the fish, and that's gonna take another 15 minutes.
If you took your fries out the oil and put your fish in straight away, which I did, it would actually take another 5 or 7 minutes or until the fish is cooked.
Whichever thing you fry first is gonna be soggy by the time you sit down to eat. It's not like a restaurant deep fryer, which is big enough to prepare an actual entire meal to order. Hot, crispy, done, all at the same time.
What if the chips cooled down for 5 to 10 minutes? Would that make much of a difference? 'Cause my fries were crispy as hell when I had them, and they had been cooling down for around 10 minutes or something.
We don't have that, so we have one big plate of fries and nothing else. We also have a giant pot of hot oil sitting on the stove, making the whole house smell like a county fair.
And yes, this is another problem. What do you do with that oil? Do you use it for another day or do you just throw it? Let's see what Adam has to say.
Really, the smell is gross and it lingers for days, and you gotta let the oil cool for hours before you can dispose of it, and how do you do that? You can't just pour it down the sink because it'll clog your pipes, it clings to the sides.
This is what I never do. I never pour that oil down the drain. I told this to my mom, and she told me that I'm right.
In my fried chicken video, I talked about burying my fry oil in my garden. I should have emphasized that only works for very small quantities. Too much oil will make it impossible for your soil to grow anything.
I've told this to my parents, and they had no opinion about it. So, we either throw it in the bin or use it again.
So what do you do with half a gallon? You gotta pour it back into the bottle whence it came, which is gonna require a funnel, and in the end I still end up spilling a bunch. Stay out of the shot, Ragùsea, stay out of the shot!
While I agree that you can spill some oil out while you're pouring it down the funnel, you can just clean up the spills, if you have any, and put the spilled oil in the bin, the one absorbed by the kitchen towels.
Messy business. Then what do you do with the bottle of used oil? Well, you could keep it and fry with it again. Fry oil does arguably get better with multiple uses.
Once again, I don't tend to reuse that oil, and yes, it is a waste of oil, but I don't deep fry a lot, and lots of people don't either, like Omar Aliboy when he says he doesn't like deep frying unless strictly necessary.
But if you're gonna do that, then you really want to strain it, right?
Exactly. If you didn't strain the oil, these bits would be burnt and wouldn't taste good.
And unless you fry really often, it's gonna get yucky hanging around the kitchen, and I'm sorry, I just throw it out.
Exactly what I would do, considering that I don't deep fry often.
Back over at Sarah Lynn's place, they use the same fry oil for days and days and days before they change it. And think of all the portions of food that they get out of that. It's so much less wasteful. Also, a company actually pays the restaurant to come pick up the old grease and recycle it into biodiesel.
That's another good use, turning waste oil into biodiesel. There are also some videos where they ran their old diesel cars with vegetable oil. But it must be strained. Left for at least a week. Drain the diesel from your tank and fill the tank up with the vegetable oil.
I want to emphasize again that my house smelled for days after I made those fries. I smelled like a carny. I get that fried food is delicious. I get that it can be really fun to make. I make it sometimes, but really mostly just for fun.
I cook deep fried food because I love it, but often I do meat seasoned with a seasoning paste, a stew, or whatever.
For the novelty, in general, I think it should be left to the pros. And you know, I think that's just fine. Pan-fried chicken is a totally different animal from deep-fried chicken, and I really prefer it. The flavor is less oily, and the crust adheres better. It doesn't crack off in big, brittle shards. I have a recipe for oven fries that's easy to make at home and is far better than any plate of real fries I've ever produced in my kitchen.
I saw that recipe, and it was a cross between a roast potato and a fry. It does take a long-ass time, but unattended time.
I will link to that recipe video in the description once I've uploaded it.
I will also put it in the description in this reaction video once I've uploaded it.
This is going to get a little high concept now, but I do think that in my rapidly advancing age, I have figured out one secret to success and happiness, and that is to stop fighting the fundamental nature of things, of everything, but especially of yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. I mean, unless you're a sociopath, in which case, please, fight it. This goes for cooking, too. My advice to you is don't just think about what you want to eat or what you want to cook. Think about what you and your kitchen are particularly well suited to cook. And for most of us, I'm sorry, I just don't think that that's going to be deep fried food very often.
I often cook dishes that are suited to cook in my environment. Deep frying often isn't one of them, like you just mentioned.
There are, I think, actually many things that are better made in a home kitchen than they are in a restaurant. Unless you're eating out at a really good place, I think that you are far more likely to find a good plate of risotto in your own kitchen than you are in a restaurant.
Yeah, making food at home could be better than in a restaurant. That's why Joshua Weissman does a series where he improves fast food.
Ooh, that gives me an idea for another video. Gotta put that on the list.
And that's where I'm ending it here, since the rest of it is just his sponsorship to ExpressVPN. Overall, Adam, this was a good video. You explained your points on deep frying at home really well, and I agree with the majority of the points that were mentioned. Yes, I do like deep frying, but not often. This is a long ass video, so I'm gonna put some timestamps in the description, as well as the sources used in this video. That's all I would like to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for future content, and I will see you later.